Hey folks, welcome to my channel. Today I've got a little mini phal. If I can get this to focus. Got some really nice patterns on the flowers. Spent more on this than I would have liked, but mainly due to the fact that it came with an overly fancy pot. But does this make it worth $12? That's the question. Not even any drainage in there. Not going to use it for anything else. You know, maybe I'll use it. I don't even think I've got anything small enough to put in there. But it's got some decent roots in there. Some that don't look so good. That one looks a bit mushy, so we're going to be cleaning that up. So I'm going to get this flexible plastic pot off and we'll see what we're working with. So we've got the flexible plastic pot off, little nursery pot. I usually just cut them because they're not going to do me much good for anything else. Just clean them off and throw it in recycling. So let's get this old moss teased out and see what we've got left after that. Never ceases to amaze me how much awful medium they stuff into these tiny little things. Is it any wonder our orchids come in such bad shape? Although I suppose some of us don't buy from big box stores. But I work at a big box store and walk past this stuff in the greenhouse all day. And the delicate patterning on this one's been catching my eye for a while. Now I know generally it's not a good idea to repot phals until they're done with their blooming, but I know what this looks like. I'd rather the plant be healthy and not die than to worry about blasting a set of buds. I think they'll probably hang on, not as long as they should, but they'll hang on for a while. The main thing I'm worried about is down in this media, there are a few bits of dried old roots that I had to remove. And there's definitely some more that need removing. It's all papery and not much good to the plant. So I'm going to trim back till I find healthy root. That's where I'll stop in hopes that it'll branch. And some of it does show signs of branching. Right here. Little nub. That should branch. So I'm going to get that trimmed up. I'll be right back. So we're back. I've trimmed off a lot of the ugly bits. That's just a tiny bit left there. And I think it'll be okay. You don't want to go too far and hit the damage the healthy velamen. We'll have further dieback if that's the case. And I'm going to put it in a fairly airy medium. I've got some bark and perlite, a little bit of charcoal mixed in, and some New Zealand sphagnum moss just to help keep the moisture up. I had a decent looking pot, but it cracked when I was trying to drill some extra drainage in it. That was my fault. Put a little too much pressure on it, but got this hideous little thing I got from one of the dollar stores. It's got drainage slots in it though, so I've saved several mini phals by putting them in these, giving them just what they need, plenty of drainage and air around the roots, and I think it'll be a decent fit. It was a little lopsided from where it was grown, but that'll straighten out. It'll be all right. So, guess we'll get to that. I'm going to start off with some medium in the bottom. Some of the perlite is pretty small. It'll wash out, but that's okay. There are some decent sized chunks in here too, so. The main thing is to get it in there, give it a chance to let some of the existing roots grow, and put some new ones out while it's at it. I want to set it in there, maybe a little too much medium. I'm going to set it in there so that it's got itself upright, which is going to kick the flower spike way off to the side. That's okay, I don't mind that. Just going to try to fill in back here. Try not to press too hard. We don't want to break any of the precious roots that we do have. Usually with bark medium, you don't do a lot of pre-moistening. That way it'll fall in a little easier and not stick to your hands while you're trying to put it in there. But I wanted this medium to be moist rather than wet, since it was in slightly over moist medium to begin with. You know, big box stores don't generally know the deal with orchids like we do. I don't want to pack it too tight. I want it to be stable, but I don't want to inhibit oxygen to the roots. So there we've got it repotted. This little flower looks like, yep, wants to come right off. I'm hoping this will come back. I'm going to leave this spike on. Rick recommends leaving your spikes on. Of course, we know that's where they store their potassium. Very important for flowering. I think it looks fairly nice. Like I said, this will right itself. A lot of times they're grown packed in together, which is why their leaves sit upright like that. It'll spread out. Just a couple of updates. This is a Rhyncholaeliocattleya Anasaki Volcano Queen. It's a Cattleya type, obviously, unifoliate variety. It's got gorgeous flowers. I just picked this up not too long ago. Seems to be doing okay. We've got a gorgeous new growth coming in here. A little bit of black on the couple of the tips, but I gave it some garden lime. I'm hoping that'll push through to those ends, give it that calcium it needs to push on, and when I see roots coming from this new growth, I'll repot it. I think I'm going to get a small terracotta pot to put that in. Make sure it gets its proper wet-dry cycle. The little white mini phal, it reminds me of Mini Mark, has finished dropping the last bloom here, leaving that spike on again. But it's pushed out that new leaf, and we can see another one coming, so it's going to be a little bit lopsided. I think this leaf is about done growing. We'll see how big that one gets and make sure we do a good amount of feed, keep it healthy and happy, and see how it does in the spring when they go outside. This little guy's had a hard life, but that new root is doing well enough to put out a new leaf. So we'll see how that goes. Hopefully it won't be dwarfed like these other leaves here. I'm hoping we'll get some full-size leaves to replace these poor old things. And the Renanthera manila, new leaf, really starting to peek out now. Hopefully do well. It's a pretty cold day. Got down to about 18 outside, 18 Fahrenheit last night. So it's kind of chilly in the house. Trying to be careful about who I'm watering while the house warms up. Don't want to promote any rot, obviously. The Vanda suxamarin sunlight, unfortunately, seems to have aborted that bloom spike. But that's okay. It's bloomed before. It'll bloom again. Just trying to get healthy roots back going. I had to cut a couple of tips off. There's some that probably need to be trimmed. They're not going to do a whole lot, but I'd like to see what's growing before I start clipping. And because they're not in a potting medium, we don't have to worry about those rotting and causing pH upset, because these guys just hang up. So we'll see how it goes. My little Ascocenda sweet pea has a new growing tip here. It's been pushing on at a pretty impressive rate, and so we'll hope that that continues. It's just a seedling. It's got a long way before we're going to be blooming on this guy, but it'll be worth the wait. It's got beautiful red flowers. And sorry about the lighting. I know you guys probably hate that. Just wanted to give you an update on the yellow bird. Starting to get decent sized. Continuing to push on. Just a quick gripe. My Monstera keeps putting out a new leaf and it won't unfurl all the way. Just dries off. Honestly, I think the winter weather is dry, humidity being low, low temperatures, all that's trying to take its toll on these plants. So if I can just keep it going until spring warms up and the humidity rises, I think we'll be okay. So I'll just trim that off once we see some new growth. Don't want to cut it too short. That's where the new leaf's gonna come out from. So it'll be all right. This past summer it went wild when I was keeping it outside. The largest leaves were, gosh, maybe this big, and now we've got some pretty giant ones. Really took off. It was in a pot probably half this size, and now it's outgrown this one, so it'll be all right. I'm realizing this video got to be a lot longer than I wanted it to be, probably on account of my mumbling, droning on. I'm going to try to keep them shorter. If you guys liked the video, please hit the like button. Subscribe if you think this is something you're interested in. Turn on notifications so you get notifications anytime I get a new video out. Let me know if there's anything you see in my videos that I haven't touched on that you'd like to hear about. And we'll see you next time. Thank you guys for watching.